Hi guys, I'm going to show you how to do your slab mugs today. The first thing you need to do is decide what kind of shape you want your mug to be. You kind of have two options. You can have a mug that is straight up and down, so these two sizes are the same, or you can do something that's kind of flanged out like this. There's two different processes for it. So I'm going to show you first the straight up and down mug, and then I'll show you how to do the little flangy mug. You're gonna get a place like this. You're gonna get a little slab of clay, and what we need to do first is roll it out. You're also gonna get these sticks. These are to measure out our thickness. At the end, our clay is only gonna be the thickness of one of these boards. So, the first thing you're gonna do is lay out two sticks because we don't want to go too fast by thinning out our clay. So we're gonna put our guide sticks, two of them on the side of our slab of clay, and just kind of press down first to smash the clay a little bit. I'll make it easier on yourself. Pull it off the paper, flip it over. We don't want it to stick to the paper. So doing this will help you avoid that. Okay, then you're gonna take your rolling pin, and start rolling. And you want to make sure that your rolling pin is on these sticks because that will keep it the correct thickness. Okay, so now it's the thickness of two sticks, and we want one stick, so I'm going to take two away. Flip it over. If this doesn't look like it's going to be wide enough, we need to maybe do a little light pressure to roll it out sideways. Sorry. And then make sure we're always on these sticks so it doesn't get too thin. Okay, so then you can decide where you're gonna go from here. If you're gonna do a texture roller, which look like this, or like this, you need to do this part first. If you plan on adding on or carving into your mug, you would skip this step. So for the texture rollers, basically you just have to push down onto your clay, but not super hard because we don't wanna thin out the clay that much. So I'm just going to go about here, kind of medium pressure. You can see that makes a nice texture. The next thing I'm going to do is use my rulers as a straight edge, and you can see that this texture roller gave me basically a 4-inch texture, so my mug will be 4 inches tall. If you use a texture roller, that gives you a nice straight line. If you don't, then we need to make a template or measure out to make sure your mug is straight. So I'm just gonna cut the top and the bottom of the mug using some type of straight tool. And I wanna go straight down, so I don't want this tool to be at an angle of any sort. So I'm just gonna cut off the top, and the bottom, straight up and down. Okay, when you get these little extra pieces, squish them together so that we can use them again, so they don't dry out super quick. Okay, next up. For a straight up and down mug, you're gonna have a paper tube, which looks like this. It's wrapped in paper towel and lightly taped, so I can move this around. We don't want our mug to get stuck to this tube. So what you're gonna do now is take your slab and you're gonna carefully set it on your tube, and it's going to overlap. So what we're gonna do is let it overlap, and you can see right here that I have two thicknesses of the layer. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut on an angle with a sharp tool so that I'm cutting through both layers. See this? I'm gonna go at like a 45 gonna cut like this. I pull this away, open this up, pull that away. Now when I join them together, I have more surface area to join. So I can't just squish them together. I need to score and slip them, and I need to score and slip the two sides of which they will touch. So these two surface areas. So I'm gonna take my little scoring tool or a fork or anything that's rough and rough it up, because remember, we're making like two sides of Velcro. So I rough it up. And for this, we're not gonna use slip, which you learned about. I'm just gonna take a little bit of water on my fingers and just put a little bit on there. Now I can join those two pieces together. And it has a little bit more to hold on to. Then I will just use my thumb to really join them. You're gonna be able to go back and make this all beautiful at the end. Right now, this is just a quick construction tutorial. Okay, so I have my mug on here. This little red stuff, it'll burn out. Okay, so now I need to make the bottom of my mug. So for that, you need another slab of clay. So you're either gonna have to use your extra that you cut off, or grab another little piece and roll it out to the same thickness. Now I'm gonna take my mug, I'm gonna kind of push this tube up in here because I don't want it to affect my base. So I'm pushing this up and just setting it on top. So you can see it. And we're going to cut out a base. And we're gonna cut it straight up and down. So we're not angling our tool at all. We're just going straight around the bottom of the cup. Okay, I didn't put a ton of pressure on pushing this down because I don't want it to attach yet. We need to score and slip. So we're gonna score the two pieces, rough up the edge like Velcro. Score this. It's looking a little wonky right now, but it will look fine, and it's because I'm doing it fast for the video. So we score that, we got our two pieces. I'm just gonna use a little bit of water. And I'm gonna pull up my tube so it's not affecting, and place this back on and kind of give it a little twist. So twist, twist. If you've rolled texture onto your slab, you might bump the texture down a little bit with your hands, so you just gotta be careful. Then I'm gonna come around, a little tiny bit of water. This thing should not be soaking wet, it will fall apart. And kind of smooth those two seams together. So you go all around on the outside. While you're doing this, it would be a good time to write your name on the bottom, so I know whose they are. So I've just done a light path over here around. Now I'm going to twist a tube out, and you can see that we need to smooth down the joints. So you can use your finger to smooth this down. You could use a tool that looks like this. It has a nice soft edge on it to get down there, smooth that around. Get down here on the inside and kind of smooth out any seams. If there's any holes, it won't be able to hold liquid, so you really want to smooth them out. Okay, so we have a mug, or we have a cup so far. We can't add the handle on until our mug firms up a little bit, so your job will be to just make sure everything kind of looks nice and plan for your handle for the next day.